Hello everyone, welcome back. Like, subscribe, and comment if you're ready for tonight's horror. Let's begin. Now.
I didn't realize how fast a home can stop feeling like a home until the night someone you love decides you don't deserve air. The winter storms had just started rolling through Northridge, Michigan, and I was exhausted from my holiday shifts at the store. I'd tossed my jacket onto the couch, kicked off my shoes, and collapsed in front of the space heater with a cup of cheap hot chocolate. My phone buzzed on the coffee table, just one little notification, but that single buzz cracked my entire life open. It was my Instagram archive, an old video of me laughing with my childhood friend Lauren at a summer lake party. I had archived it months ago after my boyfriend Cade said it made me look way too available. I didn't repost it, I didn't touch it, it just reappeared. Some glitch. But Cade didn't think so. He walked in without knocking, he had a key, and back then, I still thought that meant trust. The door swung open and slammed into the stopper. "What the hell is this?" he said, holding up his phone like a cop flashing a warrant. I blinked, confused. "What?" "This video." He shoved it toward me. "You posting this again now? The week before Christmas, you think I'm stupid?" "It's archived, Cade. I didn't post anything, it glitched. People said Instagram does that sometimes." "Bullshit," he muttered, jaw tightening. "Why is he touching your waist? Why are you smiling like that? You trying to get guys hyped up for the holidays? What are you even talking about?" I laughed nervously. Wrong move. His face twisted instantly. "Oh, you think this is funny?" he said, stepping closer. No, Cade, I'm just saying it's not a big deal." "It is to me," he snapped. I stood up, raising both hands. "Please don't do this tonight, I'm tired. Just sit, we can talk." But his voice shot up like a crack in the ice. "Don't fucking tell me to sit." He grabbed my wrist so hard I felt the bones grind. "Cade, stop, please." He shoved me backward and I hit the wall beside the heater. The thud rattled the vent. "Why are you always lying to me?" he demanded. "I'm not lying." "You think I'm stupid enough to believe this was a glitch? Guys don't just touch girls like that unless something was going on." "It was 6 years ago," I yelled. "We were kids." "Kids," he repeated mockingly, and something snapped behind his eyes. He grabbed my throat, not hard at first, just a warning. But then he squeezed. Harder, harder. "Cade, stop, please, I can't." "Say you're sorry," he hissed. "What? For what?" "I didn't." His fingers tightened like a clamp. My vision pulsed. I clawed at his arm. "Cade, please, I can't breathe." He shoved me again, and I smacked the floor, my head connecting briefly with the baseboard. A bright flash tore across my vision. I gasped, choking. "Cade!" I screamed. "Stop!" But he was already on me again. This time, both hands wrapped around my neck, and all I could think was, this is how people die in stupid apartments in quiet towns. My last sight before everything blacked out was the flickering Christmas lights across the room, the ones he insisted we put up together. Then nothing, just a pit of black. I was on my back, no concept of time, no idea how I got from standing to the cold wooden floor. And Cade was crouched over me, taking a picture. The shutter sound was quiet, but it felt like a bullet. "You look real peaceful when you're not running your mouth," he said coldly. I don't remember him doing it. My memory cuts clean, standing, then on the floor. When I tried to sit up, my head spun like a loose wheel. "You done?" he asked. "Or you want to keep pissing me off?" "Cade, you strangled me. You always exaggerate everything." "I blacked out." "You passed out," he corrected, shrugging. "Don't be dramatic." My hands shook. My chest felt like it was collapsing inward. The fear wasn't immediate, it was delayed, like my body needed a minute to register that I was still alive. "Cade, leave," I whispered. He laughed, not loudly, but in a way that felt like he was laughing inside my skull. "This is my place too," he said. "You think you can kick me out? After everything I do for you?" "You almost killed me," I croaked. "I barely touched you," he said. "Quit acting." He walked into the kitchen, opened my fridge, and cracked open a beer like we'd just had a stupid little argument about dishes. I sat on the floor until my hands stopped trembling enough to grab my phone. But when I reached for it, he had already taken it and placed it in his pocket. "You're not calling anyone," he said calmly. "We're not dragging other people into this." That tone, soft, low, collected, scared me more than the yelling. I realized then, he didn't lose control. He let go. I didn't want to tell anyone. I didn't want to ruin his life. That's the sick part of toxic love. You're bleeding, but you're worried about staining their clothes. My parents, Sandra and Harold, noticed the marks on my neck when they came by to drop off holiday cookies. "What happened to you?" my mom gasped. I fell into the shelf," I lied. "You think we're idiots?" my dad said, stepping closer. "Who did this?" But I stayed quiet, because I still loved him, because I didn't want him in jail, because I didn't want the small-town gossip mill ripping through my life. It wasn't until Cade sent me the picture of me unconscious with the message, "Told you you shouldn't test me," that I broke. I showed my mom. She went white. My dad grabbed his coat and wanted to drive straight to Cade's apartment. It took both me and my mother to stop him. "We need the police," my mom whispered. "This is not normal. This is not love." "I don't want to," I said, crying. "He'll hate me." "He could have killed you," she choked. But I still hesitated. Love turns your brain into wet cement. Everything gets stuck. My mom finally called the police herself. Deputy Collins took photos of my neck and bruises. He looked at me for a long moment and said, "You know, most people we bring in for strangulation don't come in twice. They either leave or they die the second time." That sentence cracked something in me. They arrested Cade. He was out the same day, bonded out like nothing happened. And the moment I heard it, fear replaced guilt. Because now I knew. I would have to see him in court for the restraining order hearing. I would have to look at the man who held my life in his hands. And I didn't think I could survive that. Every night after his arrest, I woke up to phantom hands around my throat. I'd jump awake gasping, clawing at my own skin, convinced he was in the room. I slept with the lights on. I slept with the door locked, chair under the knob. I slept on the couch some nights because my bedroom felt unsafe. Even then, nightmares came. In one dream, he lifted me off the ground by my throat like I weighed nothing. In another, he whispered in my ear, calm and slow, "I'm not done with you." I woke shaking, chest burning, unable to breathe. When the day came, I sat outside the courtroom, arms wrapped around myself, rocking slightly. My mom held my hand. "You don't have to speak," she said gently. The judge read everything. "I don't want to see him," I whispered. "Mom, I can't." "You're safe," she said, but even she didn't sound convinced. When they opened the doors, I saw him. Clean-shaved, new jacket, smirking, like he was proud. I froze in place. His eyes locked on mine, and I could see it. That same cold, controlled cruelty. He mouthed something. I couldn't hear it, but I knew what he said. "I've seen that expression enough. You're gonna pay for this." I panicked. My chest seized. I grabbed my mom's arm and whispered, "I can't go in there. I can't breathe. Mom, I can't do it." The bailiff saw me spiraling and guided us back into the hallway. "You okay, sweetheart?" she asked. "No," I whispered. "Please don't make me go in there." My legs felt like they were filled with cement. The judge granted the peace order. But fear doesn't follow court dates. Fear follows memory. Some nights I swear I hear footsteps outside my door. Sometimes a car slows down a little too long near my building. Once I found a cigarette burn on my doorframe, but I don't know if it's him. Trauma makes shadows violent. I don't feel much these days. Nothing deep. Just flashes of panic, moments of numbness, nightmares that feel too real. But I do know one thing. Whatever my future holds, I can't go through another courtroom, and I never want to face him again. I survived once. I don't know if I would survive twice. I never thought love could feel like both a home and a threat at the same time. If you had asked me 2 years ago what the word toxic meant, I probably would have said something simple. Bad vibes, bad communication, maybe cheating. I had no idea it could look like gentle apologies dripping over bruises. I had no idea it could sound like someone whispering, "I love you" through tears right after they slapped you. I had no idea it could feel like craving someone who scares you. And to understand how I got here, you'd have to understand where I came from. I grew up in a small, quiet town outside of Columbus, Ohio. Not the kind of place where dramatic things happened. Just a flat, ordinary neighborhood where people mowed their lawns every Sunday, and everyone had a kid on a little league team. My parents weren't abusive, but they weren't the emotional type either. My dad was a deal-with-it kind of guy, and my mom dealt with her own anxiety by pretending everything was fine. So I grew up learning how to stay quiet during arguments, how to keep the peace, how to apologize first, even if something wasn't my fault. Which is probably why I stayed with Celine longer than any sane person would have. Celine, that wasn't her real name, of course, but that's what I'll call her. Because even now, even after everything, saying her real name out loud feels like lighting a match in a dry forest. The real start. Ultra realistic. Requested. I met her last April at a small local coffee shop near downtown. I was sitting at the back table, working on some paperwork on my laptop. It was one of those spring days where the weather couldn't decide whether to be warm or cold. People kept walking in wearing hoodies but sweating like crazy. I remember complaining to myself about how sticky the air felt. And then she walked in like she was stepping out of a magazine shoot. Not fake beautiful, just alive in a way I wasn't used to. She had jet black hair tied in a messy bun, a denim jacket with random patches sewn on, and this pair of sneakers drawn on with black Sharpie. The shoes caught my eye before she did. Little doodles everywhere. Stars, hearts, some band names. And on one shoe, messy handwriting that said, "Not crazy, just passionate." I didn't know how true that line really was. She walked straight to the counter and said, "Can I get a caramel latte?" Extra shot, actually, 2 extra shots. Life's kicking my ass today. The barista laughed awkwardly, like he wasn't sure if she was joking. When she turned around, she caught me staring at her shoes or maybe at her. I honestly don't know. She tilted her head and said, "What you staring at, stranger? You judging my shoes?" I choked on my own spit. No, the doodles are cool." She smirked. That smirk, it could disarm a whole army. "Well, thanks. I get bored easily," she said. "Sometimes my brain just starts going 100 miles per hour and I gotta do something with the energy." She walked over without asking and sat across from me like she'd always been there. "Name's Celine," she said, reaching out her hand. "You look like you need someone interesting in your life." I didn't know then that interesting could also mean dangerous. We talked for 3 hours that first day. She told me about her childhood, bouncing between relatives, never feeling grounded. She talked about being diagnosed with PTSD and intense mood swings. She talked with her hands fast and expressive. Her laugh was loud, her sarcasm sharper than broken glass on pavement. But she was soft in the moments between sentences. Soft in a way that made you want to take care of her. And I was a caretaker by nature. So, of course, we started dating. It was intense immediately. Not normal intense. I'm talking texting nonstop. Showing up at my apartment with takeout at midnight. Opening up about her fears on day 2, kind of intense. She loved me loudly, hugging me tight, kissing me like she was trying to memorize me, telling me things like, "You're the calm I never got as a kid. You make me feel safe. You're literally the only stable thing in my life." And at first it felt good. Who doesn't want to be needed? But 2 months in, everything shifted. The first major fight happened over something stupid. I had gone out with some coworkers after a late shift. Nothing wild, we just grabbed burgers and talked shit about our boss. My phone died halfway through, and when I got home, Celine was sitting on the steps outside my building with a look on her face like I'd crashed her car. "Where the hell were you?" she demanded. "My phone died, I was with coworkers." "That's bullshit," she snapped. She shoved past me, hard enough that I had to catch myself on the railing. "Celine, what the hell? Why are you pushing me?" "You think I'm stupid?" she yelled. "You think I don't know when someone's lying to me?" "No one's lying to you." I said it calmly, stupidly calmly, because that's what I always did growing up. But with Celine, calm triggered her. She hated it. "Stop talking to me like I'm some crazy bitch," she snapped. "I didn't say that." "You're thinking it," she hissed. "I can see it on your face." Before I could respond, she slapped me. Not hard enough to knock me off balance, but hard enough to shock the hell out of me. She froze immediately, like she hadn't meant to do it. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Oh my God, I didn't, babe, I'm so sorry." She grabbed my face gently, the same face she had just hit. "I'm so sorry," she said. "I don't know what happens sometimes. It's like my emotions take the wheel and I'm just watching. Please don't leave me, please don't ever leave me." And stupid me. I hugged her. I told myself it was a one-time thing. I told myself she was just stressed. I told myself people slip up. But somewhere deep inside, I knew this wasn't the last time she'd lose control. The fights became a pattern. If she got jealous, she shoved me. If she felt abandoned, she hit my arm. If I tried to walk away from an argument, she grabbed my shirt. After every outburst, she'd break down crying. "No one ever taught me how to calm down," she'd sob. "I'm trying. I swear I'm trying." And she was trying. She really was. Sometimes she'd stop herself mid-swing and scream into a pillow instead. Sometimes she'd grab her own arm so hard she left marks. Once she even locked herself in the bathroom to avoid lashing out. That's the thing about toxic people. They're not evil. They're hurting. But their hurt spills over and drenches everyone around them. 3 months in, we had our worst fight yet. We were arguing about something dumb again, me forgetting to text her that I got home safe. And mid-argument, she suddenly went quiet. Her face changed. Her breathing shifted. "Don't freak out," she said, staring at the floor. "But sometimes I get these intrusive thoughts when we fight." "Okay, what kind of thoughts?" She swallowed. Her voice dropped. "About killing you." The room spun. It felt like hearing a fire alarm in a quiet house. "But I would never do it," she said quickly. "Never. Not in a million years. They're just thoughts. My brain gets dark when I'm scared of losing you. Celine, I swear I would never hurt you like that. I would rather die than hurt you." I just sat there. Thoughts aren't actions. I knew that. People with trauma can have violent, intrusive thoughts they'd never act on. But considering she'd already pushed me, hit me, shoved me, it wasn't exactly comforting. Still, I stayed. Because she cried into my chest. Because she said she needed me. Because she kissed my hands and whispered, "You make the monsters in my head quiet." We had good moments, really good ones. Laughing at 2 a.m., dancing in the kitchen, going to flea markets, getting tacos from that food truck near High Street, making dumb videos on her phone. When she wasn't spiraling, she was the sweetest person I'd ever met. But the outbursts never fully stopped. One night she got mad I fell asleep during her rant about her coworker. She threw a pillow at my head, then stormed out. Another time she slammed my laptop shut during an argument, cracking the corner. Another time she hit my shoulder so hard my arm tingled for 10 minutes, and every time she looked horrified afterward. "I'm trying," she'd say. "I swear I'm trying." And she was. But trying doesn't undo damage. Love can be real and toxic at the same time. That's something people don't understand until they live it. The breaking point wasn't dramatic. There was no knife, no screaming match, no big betrayal. It was exhaustion. One night we were sitting on my couch watching some crime documentary she loved. She was leaning against me, head on my chest, her fingers drawing circles on my arm. Out of nowhere, she said quietly, "Do you ever think I'm dangerous?" I hesitated, and that hesitation told her everything. She pulled away, her eyes filled with tears. Not angry tears this time, but the deep, wounded kind. "You're scared of me," she whispered. "No, Don't lie, please. Not tonight." She stood up, pacing the room. "I love you more than anything," she said. "But I can't be someone you flinch around. I don't want to be the reason you walk on eggshells." I didn't interrupt. For the first time, she wasn't yelling. She wasn't spiraling. She was just honest. "I need help," she whispered. "Real help. And I don't think I can get better while holding on to you like this. I keep hurting you, I keep losing control, and I hate myself for it." She wiped her eyes. "I'm not breaking up with you," she said softly. "I'm setting you free." It hurt worse than any slap she'd ever given me, but it was the right call. We talked for hours, calmly, painfully, honestly. By sunrise, it was over. She packed her things quietly. No drama. No last-minute chaos. Just two broken people who cared too much to keep destroying each other. Before she left, she kissed my cheek and whispered, "Thank you for being the first person who didn't give up on me. I'm gonna get help, I promise." And for the first time, I actually believed her. We don't talk now. Not because we hate each other, but because healing sometimes requires silence. I heard through mutual friends that she started therapy, joined a support group, and even stopped drinking during bad days. She's working on herself, for real this time. And me? I'm learning that love shouldn't hurt. Not like that. I still think about her sometimes. Her laugh, her doodled sneakers, the way she whispered apologies like prayers. I still wonder what we could have been if pain didn't bleed through her body like electricity. But some love stories aren't meant to last. Some are meant to teach. And she taught me a lot. About boundaries, about trauma, about how dangerous it is to confuse intensity with affection. Most of all, she taught me that loving someone doesn't mean fixing them. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is walk away.